The roar of the engines, the smell of burning rubber, the thrill of the race, Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsport, has captivated fans for decades. This sport, with its high-speed chases and nail-biting finishes, has a rich history that dates back to a time when the world was emerging from the shadows of war. The excitement and adrenaline that we associate with modern Formula One have their roots in a post-war era that was hungry for innovation and exhilaration. But where did this exhilarating sport begin? To truly appreciate the grandeur of Formula One, we must journey back to the 1950s, a decade that saw the birth of this incredible sport. It was a time when the world was rebuilding, and people were looking for new forms of entertainment and excitement. The seeds of Formula One were sown in this fertile ground of post-war optimism and technological advancement. To understand Formula One, we need to go back to the 1950s, to a world recovering from the ravages of war. Europe, in particular, was a continent in transition, moving from the devastation of conflict to a period of reconstruction and renewal. The war had left its mark, but it had also spurred technological advancements that would soon find their way onto the racetrack. Post-war Europe craved excitement, and motor racing provided the perfect outlet. The people were eager for a distraction, something that could bring joy and a sense of normalcy back into their lives. Motor racing, with its speed and spectacle, was the ideal solution. It offered a thrilling escape from the hardships of the recent past and a glimpse into a future filled with possibilities. In 1950, the first official Formula One World Championship was held at Silverstone, UK. This event marked a significant milestone in the history of motorsport. The Silverstone Grand Prix was more than just a race, it was a symbol of a new beginning, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. The event drew crowds from all over, eager to witness the dawn of a new era in racing. This marked the beginning of a new era in motor racing. The cars that took to the track at Silverstone were a far cry from the sophisticated machines we see today, but they were the cutting edge of their time. These early vehicles were built with a combination of ingenuity and determination, reflecting the spirit of an age that was eager to push boundaries and explore new frontiers. Early Formula One cars were rudimentary compared to the technological marvels of today. They were simple, yet powerful machines that required immense skill and bravery to operate. The drivers of these cars were pioneers, pushing the limits of what was possible with the technology of the time. They laid the groundwork for the advancements that would come in the decades that followed. Drivers were incredibly brave, facing danger with every corner. The risks were high, and the safety measures we take for granted today were virtually non-existent. These early racers had to rely on their wits, reflexes, and sheer courage to navigate the treacherous tracks. Their daring exploits captured the imagination of fans and set the stage for the legends that would emerge in the sport. These early races were a test of both man and machine. The drivers and their cars were pushed to their absolute limits, and the competition was fierce. Every race was a battle, not just against other drivers, but against the very elements of speed and endurance. It was a time when the bond between man and machine was truly put to the test, and only the best could emerge victorious. Drivers like Juan Manuel Fangio, a legend of the sport, pushed these early cars to their limits. Fangio's name became synonymous with excellence in racing. His ability to extract the maximum performance from his car, combined with his strategic mind and fearless approach, made him a formidable competitor. He was a master of his craft, and his influence on the sport is still felt today. Fangio, with his fearless driving style and exceptional skill, became the first superstar of Formula One, winning 5 world championships in the 1950s. His achievements set a benchmark for future generations of drivers. Fangio's legacy is a testament to the spirit of innovation and excellence that defines Formula One. His story is a reminder of the sport's humble beginnings and the incredible journey it has undertaken to become the global phenomenon it is today. The early years of Formula One were marred by danger. The sport, in its infancy, was a thrilling yet perilous endeavor. Drivers, often seen as daredevils, pushed the limits of both their cars and their own courage. The circuits were unforgiving, with minimal barriers and safety measures. It was a time when the thrill of speed overshadowed the looming risks. Crashes were frequent, and sadly, fatalities were not uncommon. The lack of advanced technology meant that even minor errors could lead to catastrophic outcomes. The sight of mangled cars and injured drivers was a grim reminder of the sport's inherent dangers. Each race carried with it a sense of impending doom, as fans and participants alike braced for the worst. The cars lacked the sophisticated safety features we take for granted today. There were no seatbelts, no roll cages, and certainly no crash structures designed to absorb impact. The focus was purely on speed and performance, with little regard for the driver's safety. The interiors were cramped and offered minimal protection, making every race a high-stakes gamble. Drivers were essentially piloting death traps. They wore basic helmets and flimsy overalls, which provided little to no protection in the event of a crash. The bravery and skill of these early drivers were undeniable, but so was the ever-present risk of fatal accidents. The sport demanded not just talent but a willingness to face death head-on. However, as the sport matured, so did the focus on safety. The 1960s marked the beginning of a new era, where the well-being of drivers started to take precedence. Engineers and designers began to innovate, seeking ways to make the cars not just faster, but also safer. This shift in focus was driven by a growing awareness of the sport's dangers and a desire to protect its heroes. The 1960s saw the introduction of monocoque chassis, a significant leap forward in driver protection. Unlike the traditional space frame designs, monocoques were single-piece structures that provided greater strength and rigidity. This innovation not only improved the car's performance but also offered enhanced safety in the event of a crash. It was a game-changer, setting new standards for car construction. Unlike the earlier space frame designs, monocoques were single-piece structures, significantly stronger and safer in a crash. This advancement meant that drivers had a better chance of surviving high-speed impacts. The monocoque chassis became a cornerstone of modern Formula One design, influencing the development of safer and more resilient cars. This period also saw the emergence of Jim Clark, a Scottish driver known for his smooth, precise style. Clark's talent and composure behind the wheel made him a standout figure in the sport. He became a symbol of excellence, demonstrating that skill and strategy were just as important as raw speed. His success brought a new level of professionalism to Formula One. Clark, tragically killed in a Formula 2 race in 1968, became a symbol of the dangers inherent in motorsport. His death was a stark reminder of the risks that drivers faced every time they took to the track. The loss of such a talented and beloved figure sent shockwaves through the racing community, prompting calls for greater safety measures. His death, along with other tragedies, spurred further safety improvements. The racing community realized that changes were necessary to protect its drivers. Safety meetings became more frequent, and engineers worked tirelessly to develop new technologies and protocols. The focus shifted from merely surviving crashes to preventing them altogether. The sport began to take driver safety much more seriously. Innovations such as crash barriers, improved helmets, and fire-resistant suits became standard. The introduction of the Hans device, which protects the neck and head, was another significant milestone. These advancements have saved countless lives and have become integral to the sport's evolution. The focus shifted from pure speed to a balance of performance and driver well-being. Modern Formula One cars are marvels of engineering, designed to be both fast and safe. The sport has come a long way from its dangerous beginnings, with safety now being a top priority. Drivers can push the limits with greater confidence, knowing that they are protected by the latest technology. This marked a turning point in the history of Formula One. The journey from the perilous early days to the highly regulated and safety-conscious sport we see today is a testament to the relentless pursuit of progress. Formula One continues to evolve, always striving to find the perfect balance between speed, excitement, and safety. The 1970s and 1980s witnessed a revolution in Formula One car design, a period that would forever change the landscape of motorsport. This era marked the advent of aerodynamics, a concept that would become a cornerstone of modern racing. Teams began to understand the importance of downforce, the force that pushes a car onto the track, increasing grip and allowing for higher cornering speeds. This newfound knowledge led to a flurry of innovations and experiments as teams sought to gain a competitive edge. Colin Chapman, the legendary designer for Team Lotus, pioneered the use of wings and ground effects. His innovative approach transformed the way cars were built and raced, setting new standards for performance and engineering. Ground effects, using the underside of the car to generate downforce, proved incredibly effective, leading to a dramatic increase in cornering speeds. This technique involved shaping the car's underbody to create a low-pressure area, effectively sucking the car to the track. The cars were now faster than ever before, But this also led to new challenges. The increased speeds and downforce put immense stress on the cars and drivers, pushing the limits of what was physically and mechanically possible. The 1982 season, in particular, highlighted the dangers of ground effects, with several high-profile accidents. These incidents underscored the fine line between innovation and safety, prompting the sport to re-evaluate its approach to car design. Despite the risks, the pursuit of aerodynamic advantage continued. Engineers and designers worked tirelessly in wind tunnels, testing and refining their ideas to extract every possible ounce of performance. Teams experimented with various wing designs and underbody tunnels, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Each new development brought with it the promise of greater speed and efficiency, but also the potential for unforeseen complications. This era gave rise to legendary drivers like Niki Lauda, known for his analytical approach and remarkable comeback from a near-fatal crash. Lauda's resilience and determination made him a symbol of the sport's relentless pursuit of excellence. And Alain Prost, nicknamed the Professor for his calculated driving style. Prost's methodical approach to racing earned him numerous championships and cemented his place as one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history. Together, these drivers and their teams pushed the sport to new heights, forever changing the way we think about speed, technology, and the human spirit. Throughout its history, Formula One has been shaped by constant rule changes. These changes are often implemented to control costs, improve safety, or simply to shake up the competition. The introduction of the turbocharged era in the 1980s, for example, saw engine power skyrocket, with cars producing over 1,000 horsepower. However, this era also saw a widening gap between the top teams and the rest of the grid, as smaller teams struggled to keep up with the development costs of these incredibly complex engines. In response, Formula One introduced standardized engine components and fuel restrictions to level the playing field. The rule changes often lead to a fascinating technological arms race, with teams constantly seeking ways to exploit loopholes and gain an advantage. From the ban on ground effects in the 1980s to the introduction of hybrid power units in the 2010s, each rule change has left its mark on the sport, leading to new innovations and exciting racing.